thing I wanted to say, to begin with, everybody's saying, why Marantec? They're easy, it goes together well. On this packet right here, this spiral bound thing, it says VTA on it, and which is this commercial jack shaft unit that we have. All of the programming for the residential, all the troubleshooting, the error codes, they're all the same. So the two products we're going to talk about are universal. So as far as programming, troubleshooting, error codes, they're the same. So don't, so when you see where it says VTA on it, just assume it's the residential Synergy as well. To begin with, this is a 300 series flyer. The 370 and 380 in here. And this is what you guys have in stock now, and this is what you'll be selling. And Marantec is all DC motors, built-in LED lights, everything's belt drive, so your rail system here is belt. And all of the rails you have in stock are all the heavy-duty 1.2 millimeter rails, okay? So you don't have to worry about mix and matching rails. They're all, for your 7 and 8s, they're essentially, you know, everything's the same. So any head, any rail, you can mix and match, doesn't matter. Any rail can go on any head and vice versa.
Have you guys seen a Marantec with a bent rail? You know, spring breaks and it doesn't close all the way and pulls that rail down. So we went with the heavy duty rails just so we don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about, is this a 380 going on a really heavy door or a 370 just going on a 16x7 non-insulated? We just bought all the same exact rail. And it's 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, they're all belt drive.
So you've got the 370, the 380. The 370 is a 3/4 horse plus. It'll handle up to, I've seen it on close to 1,000-pound doors. The 380, I've seen it on 1,600-pound doors. And again, we have up to 14 foot high. So if you got a big heavy carriage house door that's, you know, 1,000, 1,100 pounds, sell the 380 and you're good to go. It's a little, it's a beast. There's a lot of torque and a lot of power there. So with all of Marantec products, DC motor, they're self-adjusting force. So if it's going on a big heavy door, it's going to adjust the force as it profiles the door. Going to monitor it. It will even slow itself down if it has to. So the opener is not going to let itself break itself. It'll automatically slow down to handle the weight and the amount of that, the size of that door to be able to handle the torque to do it. So the slower, the more torque it's going to put out there. Mounting this rail on the head is very simple. You lay it down. There's two U brackets that just snap on, or lay on. You put your 4 screws in, and the rail's attached. You've got a hardware bag. All your hardware, nuts and bolts, and the screws are in there. You have 2 mounting brackets. One that can mount over the head or on the rail, and the other could be mounted in the center of the rail. If you've got a really tall door, a heavy door, you can center mount it. So there's 2 mounting brackets, and we'll cover that in a minute. You have a wall station. You've got a box of your radio controls and your transmitters. There's 2 white 4-button transmitters. Comes in every unit, okay? You have a receiver, little antenna that snaps in the back of the motor. If you don't put that in, try to program your remote, it's not gonna program it.
The remotes come pre-programmed?
No, you're gonna be programming the remote to the head.
Are those 2 remotes programmed to each other?
Nope.
So you gotta program the remote to the head and then program the other remote to that remote.
Yeah. I think later on, I don't know when it'll be, sometime next year, let's just say the end of next year, we're gonna be programming the remotes to the head, and so that'll be taken care of. Photo eyes, power cord, your arm mounting bracket, or your J-arm and your straight arm. You got these little tabs that could go on the top of the rail, so if you run your photo eye wires, you can run them along the rail, the top of the rail, and hide them. If it's not pre-wired and you've got a run wire, you can use those to cover up the wire. And does anybody know what this is?
Garbage, just kidding.
That's what it's normally used for, yeah, but we don't wanna use it for that. This is the manual, okay? So when in doubt, pull out the manual, look at it, read it, see what you can find out till you're, totally familiar with the product, and that's why it's there. Then you've got the motor head right here. One neat feature that, I'm not gonna take it out of there, that you can do with the head is you can rotate it 90 degrees and save yourself about 3.5 inches depth into the garage.
Is that with taking the light cover off or without?
That is without.
No,
No, leaving it on, yeah.
Leaving it on.
Leaving it on 3.5.
Can you take the light cover off and gain yourself another inch?
If you take the light cover off, you're gonna gain another couple inches. Yeah. So that's huge. If you got a beam, you're up on the avenues, you're in one of those weird vault garages or something, and there's enough room, you can rotate it. And then the rail system here, you'll notice it's extremely thin, so takes less headroom to install this. So low headroom situations, it really comes in handy. Plus, you could even mount the rail right to the ceiling if you have to. Because it's flush, you could go right up to the ceiling and run your brackets in, and off you go. But there's a fuse that is there with the battery, and it just pops in the back of the battery. So you have to obviously use the fuse to activate the battery and get it going. It should self program and set up once you plug everything in and go through it. It should be good to go.
Is that fuse already stuck in the battery?
No, it's not in the battery. It's in a plastic bag attached right inside of here.
So we did have a circumstance where somebody installed one but lost the fuse, and we had to go get another fuse. But you said it's just one we can get from Home Depot. It's just a 15 amp
It's a 15
car
amp,
fuse.
yeah. You can pick it up anywhere. Yeah. The 370 and 380 are adjustable speeds. So if you get on a job, out of the box, it's 6.3 inches per second. You can take the 370 and move it up to 9.3 inches per second. So you can really speed it up. You can slow it down. You can, have the up, going really fast. The slow or the down could be slowed down and come down to a nice softer stop. There's 3 different speed levels. Just the overall speed. You can adjust the speed of the slow start, soft stop. You can adjust the speed of that duration. And so, because the Marantec is a transformer-based DC motor, you've got the ability to control the power and the speed of the opener a lot better than an inverter like our competition.
A big place that I think that's very useful is on the VTA operator. So say we have a 12-inch radius and we want to use a side mount instead of a trolley operator, you can start really slow. And what that does is it gives the door time to get to this position before it speeds up, and then you're just a lot less likely to pop your cables off.
Because of the software, of what Mitch said with the speed, you can control that soft start when the door's in the up position, slow it down and speed it up. There's one in there in the showroom, you guys can look at it and play with. I've never seen a cable flipped on this unit. So standard lift, low clearance, it's ideal. No cable tensioners, no push rods, no bumper springs. Thing to do. So don't worry about
how does
having
the
to do
VTA
that.
know if the cable is slack? Does it stop?
There's a sense in the, yes, it will. It'll stop and you'll get a code. So DC, super quiet, belt drive. So as you guys are out there selling, these are things you're talking about. Battery backups included, 2 remotes. The thing about Marantec is this motor and everything here you see is manufactured in Germany. German engineer, German quality, German technology. And the rail system here, we manufacture that here in the US in our Chicago DC manufacturing place. We manufacture the rails here. We don't have punched angle on the top of the motor head. We just got the housing. There's no punched angle. So you're gonna mount and hang the opener off of this bracket on the rail. So typically you're gonna put it right here in this vicinity. It just slips on, rotates. You can slide it anywhere along the rail. This is gonna be
How
different
close
for
to
you
the
guys.
motor head does it need to be?
Pardon?
How close to the motor head does that need to be?
There's no guideline on it, Mitch. It just depends on where your where your drop down punch angle is and where you need to be. You can take this and you can mount it right over the motor head here as well, okay? When you do it, you've got to put this on when you put the rail and head together, because it's got to kind of go on together and slip down in there. Otherwise, if you try to do it after, you can't get it on, you got to loosen the screws. So put this on simultaneously when you do that.
Nice thing about that is then it'll fit the LiftMaster placement, you know.
Yeah, and then you can just go straight up. And your punched is only going to be that wide. It's not going to be the width of the motor. It's only going to be this is what you're going to be hanging off of. If you got a real heavy door, there's 2 in every box, you can take it and put it on and center hang it wherever you need to hang up towards the front or in the middle to reinforce the rail. But typically you're not going to have to center hang unless you got a big heavy door. So that's purely up to you to make that judgment and that decision whether you need to center hang it. Okay. Everything that we do is 315 megahertz, so it's HomeLink compatible. So this will sync up with any HomeLink car. They can use it, program it off the transmitter, and have it programmed to the car. One of the most, if not important, critical thing on the unit is this. Okay, this is just called the bumper. It's a reference point for the up limit. Okay, so you need to make sure you use this, you install it, you put it in the right spot. Okay, a little different, a little unique, but once you understand it, it's easy. It goes on the rail, it snaps in. There's 2 screws that you put it in with. The majority of the time, it's going to go right around in this area right here. So I'm going to put the door in the down position, and this is where you want to start your programming at. Now you see this little device here, this one. So this is a external programming device. You don't need this for this residential unit. I've got it here just for demonstration purposes, but I've been using that a lot, and I think I may have a little connection there. So what you're going to do, you're going to press and hold down the P button. So you get into programming on the P button here. You're going to hold it down for about five seconds. And then you'll see a little door there that shows that would be the up limit. So if you're going to do the up limit, would you press the plus button or the minus button? Plus. Okay. So I'm doing this upside down, so I have to stare. So you're gonna bring it up, your door up, and you're gonna stop the carriage a ½ inch in front of the bumper. So obviously you'll raise your door up. You're gonna know where that's gonna be, and that's where that bumper will be set. And then you'll bring your carriage up and you'll stop it a ½ inch in front of the bumper. Okay? Does everybody get that? Up limit, stop it a ½ inch in front of the bumper. When you get to that mode, you're done, you would hit P. Okay? And again, all these instructions the down mode. So you're gonna do your down limit. So what am I gonna press now? Minus. The minus, okay. I'm gonna press the minus button. And you can toggle it, so I can come back up and move it. I'm gonna get that out right there. So you can move it up and down to get the door set at the right level on the floor. So once you get it set, what am I gonna push?
P.
P. You guys are really good. Okay, now you've got a radio control that's flashing there on the screen. And at that point, you're gonna press the transmitter button. And it's gonna grab the code. So that programs the remote to the head. Then what am I gonna do? P. Okay, so at that point, it goes back to on, and it shows that it's programmed and ready to go. So with a DC motor, what's one of the things you need to do so it will remember its settings and monitoring the door? What do you have to do? You gotta cycle it. So that first cycle up, it came up and it hit that bumper. Did you hear that hit just now? So it's just, again, learning where it needs to be. And you'll do the down cycle. And you'll notice my different speeds here, because I've got this set up so that my up is going much faster than the close. So on this up cycle, it's gonna stop a 1/2 inch in front of the bumper where you had set it previously. But see the speed there? So it stopped a 1/2 inch in front. Cycle it 2 or 3 times and you're good to go. If you've got other things you need to program, like you're gonna change the setting for, well, let me talk about this. There's a flyer there that it's a intermediate door setting or a pet setting, okay? I typed it up last night and printed it off because it's not in the sheets that I gave you. Who had that happen this week or last week? Who installed that? You guys did it? Worked out okay? No? It didn't work? Okay. So user error then?
Yeah.
All right, so we never got it going?
I didn't, I believe.
We did, yeah, Grover got it going.
Oh, Grover got it going? Okay, okay. It's a little tricky if you haven't done it, but that's the instructions to do the pet setting. So if you've got to do another setting like that, you would press and hold the P button down till you get into, you go to like 11, and this rainbow of numbers will come up here on the screen. I brought some of these programming devices with me. They just snap in the back here and they program, you do it exactly the same way on this or on the back of the motor head here.
You guys all see that okay?
And it plugs in right here. Good, we got it. Okay.
Dave, programmer?
Yeah.
That program is right where the Wi-Fi stick will go, right?
Yes, and it's exactly the same port where the Wi-Fi stick pops into. Yeah, good point, Austin. So residentially, you really don't need this. I mean, it's just more of a tool to get down off the ladder and be able to see, your floor better, but it's purely up to you. Most of my dealers, installers don't use this on the residential. You have to use it on the VTA, on this direct drive unit here. So I'm going to press and hold the P button down. See it going there. The little door pops up. So now we're in basic programming now. So this is where we would press the plus button. We'd run the door up, hit the P, and then the door flips the other side. You're going to do your down limit, okay? Hit the P, and then you'll see the radio control. Maybe not, a little blurry there. There you go. So you'll see that flashing radio signal. So that's for the remote.
Can you program both remotes at the same time or just one?
I'll come back to that in just a sec, okay? And then after you do that, you hit the P again, and then this should go to on, okay? So essentially you're done, as I mentioned before, yeah.
When you're setting the up limit, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does the numbers mean anything?
Yeah, you've got to get into like 5 or 6 and then let off.
But 5 or 6 are the same.
Yeah, if you do it before then you're not in programming mode. So you got to go at least to 5 or 6 and then let off. Okay. So here's the P is the middle one right here, and so it's going to count. Okay. Then you're in that mode, and then you can do up limit again. P, down limit. So it's really simple, you guys. It really is. There's not a lot of complexities here. And then again, there's the transmitter. And at this point, it's already programmed, so I could just hit P again and skip over having to push the button. Hit P again, it'll go back to on. Okay. So if we're going to go into advanced settings, you would press and hold this down till you get up to 11. It'll count up. Okay, so when you get that little rainbow there, so this is the levels, menus, and parameters. So that the top row is the levels. okay? And you can adjust it with this or on the unit there. So let's say I'm gonna move it, I'm not sure what setting I'm in, but you can adjust that level on the very top by hitting the plus button, or if you gotta go back, you would hit the minus button and bring it back to wherever you need to be, okay? Does that make sense? So that's levels. So we'll just go with 2. I'm gonna hit the P, and now you have the menu underneath. So level 2 menus 1, 2, 3, and 4 are force and sensitivity. And so this is set on 1, so this is force. And I think we already moved it to 16 the other day when we were playing with it here
What
with
does that
Austin.
usually start on?
It probably is about 9 or 10 out of the box. So let me just comment really, well, let's go through this and I'll come back on force and sensitivity so you guys have a better understanding there. So, you're right here, we can move that as well, okay, and then it'll only go up to 4 because of where we're at. So I'm gonna hit P, I'm gonna go level 2, menu 1, does that make sense? Level 2 is on the top, 1 is the line on the bottom, so that's level 2, menu 1, and you've got that big 16 flashing there. So this is the force. And if you want to increase the force, you would move that up to 16, which it's already at. If I decide, hey, I'm gonna drop the force down, which to me, there's no reason ever to do that on this DC motor. Let it always be at 16. If it does it itself, or if you wanna do it yourself, just move it to 16. It'll just create less problems for you in the future. So then I can move it back up to 16. And then once you get that set, then you'd hit P again and it'll lock in level 2, menu 1, parameter 16, okay?
Does it automatically set force settings when you're setting the limits?
It does, it will, but it'll even self-adjust more when it'll take itself all the way to 16 if it has to. If it's sensing that it's a normal size door, the weight, everything's handling it, it may not need to go to 16.
So do you think we should do this every time we install one, or is it 16?
If it was me and I'm out doing it and I'm in programming, I would just do it. So I would just always move it to 16.
And what does it go up to? How high can you go?
16. That's the
highest?
max, yeah.
And does that mean that it's gonna like crush it at
No,
now or anything like that?
it's not gonna crush. Your sensitivity is still there as far as reversing, photo-wise. It's not gonna crush it.
So you're not adjusting the sensitivity of a reverse, you're just adjusting the force of how much
Right.
weight it's pushing and pulling.
And we'll talk about the sensitivity here in just a second. Okay, so we're back to here. I still wanna stay in level 2. So I'm gonna hit P and that's gonna come up to there and I'm gonna take it up to 3. So 1 and 2 are force, up limit, down and down force. 3 and 4 are sensitivity. And this one's really important, where you definitely wanna just move this to 16 on every install. Just do it. You may not need to, but I would just do it. And
Now does 16 mean more sensitivity or less sensitivity?
who wants to answer that question?
Less.
Less, exactly. So the higher the number with sensitivity, the lower the sensitivity, okay? So you're decreasing the sensitivity. When you say decrease, you're increasing the number. So it's opposite of what you think it is. Not a trick question, I'm not trying to fool you or anything, I'm just trying to give clarity. So we're on 16. Again, I can, excuse me, I didn't hit the P. So now we got the flashing 16. It's gonna come out of the box at probably 9 or 10, okay? So I would always increase this, I would always decrease the sensitivity up to a 16. Just do it, okay? So
At what point does that make it unsafe though for animals?
It's still gonna be, as far as the reversing, it's still gonna have the same reversing capability. It's just sensitive when it's going around the curve or you get a little bind in the door, it's gonna push harder. It's not gonna react to having it very sensitive where you may get a bind in the jam with your weather strip and it door comes back up.
So I still recommend when you guys are doing this, don't just crank it up and walk away. You need to set the settings,
Yeah.
test the door.
Test it, yeah. And we hit P again, and then you can go, then it'll go back to this. And to get out of programming, to get out of advanced programming, you just press and hold the P button down. And
So do we wanna set
It
three
goes
and
back to
4
on.
16 or just 3?
what's that?
3 and 4 to 16 or just 3?
Do 3 and 4. Yeah, do 3 and 4. So in your laminated or your spiral bound sheets there, you'll need to just kind of take 10 or 15 minutes and go through each one, because it'll talk about basic programming, advanced programming, doing a hard reset, adjusting the speed levels, up speed, down speed, intermediate speed. But keep this sitting on your, in your vehicle. If you've got a question on how to do something, go to this and look up that particular item, and it'll walk you through it. It's pretty clear. It's kind of a cheat sheet for you. And then at the back, at the very back, there's error codes. And so if you get on a job and you've got a 28, or say it's a 15, you get a call back. Or if maybe you're even on the job and you get an error code, you can go to that chart and it'll tell you 15 is photo eyes, and you'll know where to go. 28 is a door needs to be adjusted, it's binding, or there's some issue going on with the door. If you have a code 9, that is an RPM sensor. And you can do a hard reset, reprogram, and reset it and see if that corrects it. If it doesn't, the RPM sensor is built into the motor, so you can't repair, replace, or fix any RPM sensor. So you've got to replace the head. Call me or talk to tech support and say, hey, I've got this code 9. What do you want to do? And in most cases, I'm just going to tell you to replace the head. The warranty? Lifetime motor, lifetime gears, lifetime rails, and then all your parts, which really consist of the logic board and the control board. This is 8 years. Okay?
So you said the RPM sensor is part of the motor
Yeah.
that get replaced too, that has an issue?
No, you're gonna replace the head.
Right, is that under warranty?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all kind of together there. Good question. So if we determine the motor's bad, then you're replacing the head. You're not gonna replace the motor. The only thing that you're gonna really replace is this control board. This is the brain right here.
It's the
You've
logic
got-
board.
Pardon?
It's the logic board is what we call
Yeah,
it.
logic board, control board, there's all different types of terminology out there, so. But, it's easy to replace, it pops off. All the wires and the plug-ins here are all unique to each plug. So you're not gonna get them crossed or mixed up, because you can't put one on the other. Does that make sense? So number one, if we can't solve the problem with whatever the error code is, and we can't fix it, change the control board out, okay? And then what I would need you to do, in every little bag there, and this helps us out mostly. We're not gonna, have a reckoning, but when you guys replace a board, please fill this out. Take the bad board, and then just stick it back in the bag, give it to Mitch or Austin or whoever is gonna be doing that. And then we wanna get these back, because we'll send them to Germany, they'll look at them and see if there's any inherent issue or problem going on. And so I really wanna get that information coupled with what problem that you ran into, okay? Our RGA return policy is very easy. In most cases, we're gonna have you field destroy the unit when they come back. we're not gonna have you send them back to us. We just have to have you fill out the forms, get everything documented properly, and turn in the RGA to us, and then we issue credit, and off we go. But I do want to get the control boards back. I don't necessarily want the heads back, because this is what's driving everything. So we have a kit, or we have a boards, we have photo eyes, we have, I can't remember all the different things that I sent, but all of you should be able to have parts and pieces to Marantec, so when you're out there, you've got stuff to support you when you're on the job.
Are those parts universal? Say you have a 10-year-old Marantec, can we use the new logic board on the older model?
If it's a Synergy, one of these, then yes. If it's an old legacy product like the old Martin stuff, no. It's a completely different board, different software, everything.
I go to a lot of them and see the LED lights flickering on. Is there anything we can do about that?
What does a lot mean?
A lot of, like, I don't know, probably 2 out of every 5 that I see, LED lights are flickering.
I'm not gonna say that I don't see flickering or an LED hasn't gone out, but it hasn't been problematic. You're from California?
I am.
Yeah, see, I knew it. See, because California has flickering power, right? So, but no, I have seen them, and I do have the LED replacement lights, so if we need to bring some in, we can have them there so you can replace them. But if we were having significant LED issues, I mean, I would tell you, or we wouldn't be probably sitting here today, so. But I've seen them. What was your name?
Orion?
Orion, okay. So, but yeah, you could experience that, and you can replace those little strips, so. But there's nothing to solve or not solve. Maybe it might be a connection, or maybe it didn't get plugged in tight.
I used it as a really big selling point to a competitor.
Yeah. Well, Marantec was the first company to integrate LED lights into garage door openers. So you wouldn't have the halo if it wasn't for Marantec. Okay? And Marantec was also the first garage door opener to come out with DC motors. So Marantec embedded the DC residential unit. Yeah.
Is there an app for the customers to use?
Yeah, we do have the Bluefy, the Mavale Bluefy stick.
It's pretty plug and play when you, yeah.
There's a little QR code on a little piece, a little paper that comes in the box.
It's harder to get it out of the box than it is to program.
There's a QR code that takes you step by step on this.
Yeah, so this little QR code's in the box. This is the Mavale stick. This is a Marantec product. We build it, manufacture it, everything in Germany. Just a quick recap. Our program is the way it is because of patents from our competitors, because they have different patents that we can't infringe on. And so it took Marantec a little bit longer to come out with Wi-Fi, because we have to work around those patents. We don't want to get sued, and so, because LiftMaster likes to sue everybody, but, and ask Jeannie, and then Jeannie likes to sue him back. So this little guy just snaps right in here. And then you're gonna press the yellow button. Well, you gotta download the app and go through all that. Then you sync it up Bluetooth with the stick here, the yellow button. There's lights on here, green and blue, that will tell you where you're at. And you just go through the setup. It's just like any other app that's out there.
Can that connect to 5G and 2.4G?
Yeah, both. Yeah, I think it'll go on both. I've got mine here, and mine isn't working because I got a new internet service and I haven't gone out and changed my app, but it's probably just sitting there and spinning. But that's the app right there. So you can go in, operate, open the door, close the door. There's a geofencing inside the app, which means that you can go in and set a parameter around your home, around your neighborhood. You can decrease or increase the radius of the parameter. You set it, and then when you come home, once you get within that range, your phone will pop up and say, do you want to open the door? You can hit confirm. Time you get there, your door's up. I use that feature every day. And I like it. There's a timer to close built into the app as well, so you can set it on 1, 3, and for 1, 5, and 10 minutes or something like that. And then there's a guest access option as well. So it's pretty simple. Next year, you'll see additional features with notifications and some other things where lift master patents are expiring, and so we're able to do some things that we can't do. Oh, thank you. The Wi-Fi stick automatically updates itself through the air. So to program a second remote, so we've got, this is our master, programmed it here. Every transmitter has this little pin, and you're gonna program off this pin, transmitter to transmitter. Some of you may not like it, some of you may like it. The thing that I like about it is you can program an unlimited amount of remotes. So the head is programmed off of one transmitter, then you're duplicating that code. And so I did a condo project up in Salt Lake for Dave Martin years ago, and that he moved into, and we they had, I don't know, 80 or 100 tenants in this complex, and I programmed like 250 transmitters to the openers. So you got that capability if you have that situation, or if they've got more than, you know, they want to give extra remotes to the kids and things like that, you can just program as many as you want. So again, it's a 4-button remote, so you can program 4 different doors, or, you know, not program. So you're gonna put the pin in, you're gonna join them together right here, like this, and you're gonna press and hold the programmed one down that you've already programmed, and then you're going to press the button over here, and then it's gonna flash and go solid. Did it do that? I couldn't see it. So that button's now programmed. And then you can, you know, cross them back and forth. I can take this one, I take this one and then program this button over here. So it's really easy to do. I always put a little flex in it just to make sure the connection's there. That's just what I do, but they're easy to program. Again, you can do an unlimited amount of them.
Do you have to have that pin to
Gotta have a
program
pin.
the
Gotta have
second
a pin.
remote? Okay.
If you program, say you've already got a customer and you program a new remote to their motor head, it erases everything else, including their keypad, correct?
I'm not sure on the keypad.
I'm pretty sure it will, because you're programming the keypad to your remote. So you program your remotes first, and then you go to the keypad and you program the remote to that keypad.
Here's the keypad right here. So you're gonna have a mounting plate, goes on the jamb. Batteries right there that pop in. You got this nice little rubber grommet that pops over it, and then you would take that off. There's a screw here, and it will screw into the plate that you put on the wall. This has magnets, and it'll hold up, it'll drop down. So you're gonna press and hold the 3 button down. And the lights come on. You're gonna grab the remote, and you're gonna press the button, and you're gonna get it right there. It's gonna flash, and I'm gonna program this 7, 8, 9, 6. Enter. 7, 8, 9, 6. Enter. I'm programmed. So I just programmed the keypad. So it's pretty simple, but when you do this, pressing this, getting it right up there between the 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, 9, just kind of in the middle there to grab the code.
Sometimes it takes a second, so just kind of be patient with it.
And I just did my first one here. Sometimes it might take 2 or 3 times to get it in the right spot, but it's pretty easy.
There's no learn button you press in order to
Right.
program a keypad or remote. Can you show them how to unprogram a keypad?
Yeah, so in the instructions, I just want to point this out, because you're going to be doing this and you're going to run into how do I do this and how do I do that? And I might just say, hey, well, read this right here. This little guy is in every one of the keypad boxes. So you can program the pin, which we just did. That's mainly on this side. You can change an existing pin. You can program a temporary pin. So I'm just letting you know all the things you can do. Ask me how to do every one, I don't know because I don't do it every day. You can clear the memory, and I think that's what Mitch was referring to there. You can deactivate one button on the close feature. So, let me open this here. And it's probably too late, it's probably gone. But after you program it and the door's up, you can hit the, you can hit the return button and close it. So you can deactivate that button so that that enter button, when the door's open, won't activate. And then you can reactivate it. Clearing the memory. So you're going to remove the batteries. So you get the rubber grommet, take the batteries out. So the batteries are out, you press and hold the enter button down. And then you put the batteries back in while you're holding it down. So it's gone, yeah.
Can you program more than one motor to the same keypad?
Yes.
Yeah. Does anybody know the answer to that?
4 doors.
Four? So you can do 4 doors. So if you enter 4 codes and then you put a 5th code in, it'll drop the first one. Okay, it deletes that first one. So the max it'll hold is 4.
Can you do multiple codes for one motor? Like multiple different codes?
You can do a temp code and a real code, but the temp code will expire.
As in like the my 2 video keypad, you can do like 20 different codes for one motor.
Yeah. Not on this.
Yeah, you don't have that option.
We were told that like cutting down the rail is pretty simple. How do you go about doing that?
Yeah, good question. So number one, you can rotate the head, which I mentioned. You can pick yours, another 3.5 inches depth. If you cut the rail down, you would have to go into here. There's the bullet, release the carriage, and there's that bullet that snaps in. Undo those screws, disconnect the belt from that bullet. Take this part off here, slide this out, cut your rail down what you need it to be cut down to, and then what would be the length of your belt? So if I cut 6 inches off of here, what am I going to cut off the belt? 12. Okay, good answer. So cut 12 inches off or double, whatever it is, and then reconnect it to the bullet, bring it around, put it back together. If I was doing, I haven't done one for a long time, so if I was doing it today and I had all the right tools, I'm guessing 20 to 25 minutes for me. Might take you guys 10. So it's pretty easy to do. It's a lot easier than cutting down a big T-rail, which you guys probably have done before, right? It's not a fun experience. So the other thing too, with assembling your 10s, 12 and 14-foot rails, they're 2-piece, you guys, okay? So they're still all assembled, they're pre-tensioned. You got 2 rails that kind of are laid on top of each other. Open up the box, it unfolds, and it's pre-tensioned. There's a heavy-duty bracket that joins the 2 pieces of rails together, folds top bracket, bottom bracket, tighten them up, and it's extremely sturdy. So putting that rail together it's not even 5 minutes.
Is that 10 foot or just 12 and 14?
10, 12, and 14 are all 2-piece.
Even the ones that are 2-piece that come in 2 pieces are already pre-tensioned.
Yes.
Yeah, so it literally
Yeah.
unfolds, you put a bracket on it, install it. It's
Yeah,
pretty
and you
quick.
don't have to adjust any of this down here. It just unfolds and boom, you're done. So you guys are out putting up a 14-foot LiftMaster product with the T-rail and the split rail and everything. Those are really easy to install, aren't they? Yeah, they're not. They take you a while. So you don't have to get the chain and get it around the sprocket and connect that connector together. So it's much easier because it's all pre-assembled, pre-tensioned. It's really an awesome rail system. Okay, any other questions here? We could go into a lot of things, you guys. We're just not going to have all the time. Yeah.
So I got a couple concerns online that people have, so I'm just gonna read them to you. So one of the concerns is that with the Wi-Fi stick closed forward after a couple months. Is that
Never heard that.
Okay. And then when customers pull the emergency cord, common concern that they see is that it goes past the bumper stock, and so then you have to come back and redo the limits because it doesn't come in.
I don't know how to respond to that because it should remember the limits. So I'm not sure on that one.
Say that question again, Kyle?
So the concern is that, so when they pull the emergency cord, so it's supposed to, it touches the bumper after every 4 cycles, allegedly. And so when they pull it, it goes past it. And so then you're supposed to cycle it again another 4 times and it should be fine, but a lot of times that doesn't happen.
When they pull the emergency cord, the door goes, like the trolley goes flying
No,
into it, or what do you
pull
mean?
the emergency cord and then they push the button, right?
Well, they should, yeah, number one, they shouldn't push the button when it's not connected, but you know, we're dealing with people right now. I've seen it go down and hit that, so, but I haven't seen it where it's lost the memory, so I don't.
If you don't install that block securely, that can be a problem. I've seen one where the block was missing and then you can't set the limits. You gotta have something there.
Okay. What did you have?
So you said that there's a lifetime warranty on some of the parts and stuff. What is, in years, what is that lifetime? Is it like 10 years, 5 years, 15? Like what's the lifespan of the motor?
Well, we're pretty literal when we say lifetime on the motor. So 10 years from now or 15 years from now, if the motor goes out, then Marantec's good. We actually have that warranty right now on the old M-Line, the old product that has a lifetime.
Just because the motor has a lifetime warranty doesn't mean that everything's free forever, right? So we'll probably have a lifetime warranty on the parts, but not the labor. You know what I mean? So we'll have a labor warranty that's either 5 or 10 years, depending on what we set up. But after that time period, the part is free, but they gotta pay the labor to have it installed.
Is it difficult to clear the codes, like factory reset one of the motors?
Good one, yeah, and that's be a common thing you may have to do. You press and hold down all 3 buttons simultaneously, and it'll count down from like 24, and then it'll flash and it's back to factory settings. Okay, but you can also go into, I think it's 182, level 1, menu 8, parameter 2, and you can clear it out that way too. But
Carson?
really all 3 buttons down together. If you have fat fingers, then it may be harder. But if you got, little fingers, then you should be able to pull off rim. If not, do the 182.
Okay.
So this is a commercial direct drive jack shaft unit, goes right on the shaft. There's 3 different models in that brochure. The entry level model 1461 can go on a hollow shaft or it can go on a solid shaft. The other 2 models, the 1162, 1172, are on solid shaft only. Okay, and there's one in the showroom, I'm gonna go take a look at it. Anyway, direct drive, goes right on the shaft, DC motor, super quiet, programmable speed levels. So you can program your up speed, down speed, you can program your soft start and your soft stop. And so standard lift doors, as I've talked to dealers and looking at where this opener is being sold and who's putting it in, I would say at least 70% of the units that we've sold have gone on standard lift track. No cable tensioners, no bumper springs, no push rods. You're not gonna need them. I mean, you could slope your tracks up and back if you want to and just to get the door a little heavier, but it's not needed. You're not gonna flip cables. So standard lift, low clearance track, torsion in the front. I think some dealers have put it on torsion in the rear as well. And then your high lift track and vertical lift and incline or pitch, roof, however you want to describe that. It'll work on all those applications. Okay, so any type of track, you're good to go. And as far as capacity, the 1461 goes up to around 200 square feet. The other 2, you're 250 and 300. And those are pretty much guidelines. You can go a little more than those. Germany gets conservative on their parameters and their square footage and things. We don't publish weights because it gets really ambiguous with DC motors and is it going to work this heavy of a door? And I've seen the 1172 on 1,500, maybe 1,600 pound doors. the max that I've seen it work on. In fact, I was up in a job in Midway, and they were on 22 by 12 4-inch thick wood carriage house doors that were 1,550 pounds. They're a beast. I was like, why did you build these things? And anyway, it was just crazy. And there was 4 of them in this garage. And anyway, after some fine tuning and playing with it, everything worked fine. And that's been in for well over a year, and I haven't heard back from them. So what are the advantages of this unit? The entry level one weighs 18 pounds. You guys don't do a lot of commercial, right? So mainly. What was that? In the yard.
We install a fair amount.
Okay, fair amount. Okay. So would you rather go up and put one of these up on a 14 by 16, or would you rather hang a trolley?
70 pounds up.
This, right, so time savings on a 14 by 16 standard lift track, you go with this, your labor's gonna be much less. You're not gonna need a scissor lift. One guy can do it. This weighs 18 pounds. The other 2 units are around 24, 25. Yeah, good.
So when we're doing commercial jack shafts, sometimes we have to hardwire them in.
Yeah.
Can you do that through there?
Yeah, you can, and it comes pre-wired with a regular power cord. You just plug it in. You can get in here, take the wires out, and have the electrician have Sparky come, and he can wire it in and hardwire it right into it. Yeah, you can run the conduit. Yeah, you know what Sparky is, right?
Oh, that's me.
You're Sparky? I'm talking to the electrician.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He is an electrician.
Yes.
So,
Hi, Sparky.
so anyway, you can wire it right in. So Mitch put this up here. Here's this shaft extender right here. So this is so that being said, this is 4 inches in width. So technically, you need about 5.5 inches of side room to mount this puppy.
So because it's a direct drive, when we sell a VTA, you've got to sell a longer torsion rod. It has to be a solid shaft. If it's already solid shaft, but it's not long enough, then we can put this extender on the end, as long as you have about 2 inches of the bar sticking out. And this will attach to a solid shaft, but it's not designed for hollow shaft.
I can put it on 2.
You can, but it's not designed for it. I wouldn't recommend it. Let's do it right and do the solid shaft.
And that's fine. I would agree. Yeah.
So it either needs 2 inches or be able to go all the way through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So ideally, we just sell it. If we're selling a new door, I always order that shaft to be the next size up. So like if I'm ordering a 12-foot wide door, I order the 14-foot long torsion rod with it, and then you guys can cut it down to length, whatever you need.
Yeah. And it needs to go all the way through the drive. So there's keyways and stuff, and whether it's this adapter or it's your tube or your solid shaft, it needs to go all the way through it. Don't have it go halfway through. And I've seen a couple of them, and I wouldn't do it.
Question about like through this. I know our competitors, like if we actually plug it into extension cord that like voids the warranty. Is there an issue with this or anything like that?
That's with every opener, so that's gonna come down to the homeowner. And
Just so you guys know that happens from UL listings. UL is Underwriters Laboratories. It's like, everything in your home has to be UL listed in order to be like up to code. And anytime you leave something that's an installed fixture on an extension cord, you are not code.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a good reminder to me. So I've had dealers that have had to rotate the head so the power cord would reach the outlet. So that's another thing I skipped over, which I've seen happen. I got a dealer in California that sells these every day, and I don't know that I would do this, but every time he goes on an install, he asks the homeowner which direction they want the lights to face. So he'll rotate them if they want the lights, going front to back, or you can do them side to side. So kind of an odd thing, but he does that all the time, and he rotates probably half of his heads, just even on a normal install. So anyway, going back to the VTA, as Mitch said, you definitely want to have your shaft longer and have it go all the way through. It just gives a better overall install. Now, we put this one here in the showroom, and we're trying to reprogram the remotes, but we forgot to put this little receiver on it, okay? So the VTA does not include the radio controls with the receiver, so it's an accessory. This little guy just slides right in, right there, and that's your receiver if you wanna add radio controls to it. It comes with a 3-button up-down stop that you see in a commercial application. It's your PVS3. You can hook up the 3-button, or you don't have to. It doesn't matter. It's not required to have it installed. If you don't put the photo eyes on a commercial unit with this, what are you gonna have to do? Pardon?
Constant pressure close.
Yeah, you're gonna have constant pressure close. So always put the photo eyes on it. We have other NEMA rated heavy duty photo eyes as well. You can connect any other type of peripheral accessory like a light curtain, reflector, photo eyes, Falcon sensors, edges, yeah, Miller edge,
How many
pneumatic.
components can we install to this motor?
I don't know how many. I think just, there's a lot.
Does this motor have a 24-volt power supply?
Yes, it does. And so if you look at the two different units with the 11 series and the 14, the 1162 and 1172 have dual transformers. So that's what that 2 means on the end. So here's this transformer coming in right here, the colored wire, and then here's the other, or excuse me, this one right here is the transformer, and here's the other one that would plug into here. And then the 1172 has a bigger gear. So physically, it's a little bit bigger gear, probably about a 1/4 inch bigger than this one here. So looking at them side by side, really hard to tell the difference. But the one is much more powerful.
What's the average like duty rating for that motor for VTA?
You're 450 cycles a day. So divide that by 24, what is it? 25, something like that? 25 an hour. So it'll run. I've got one of these on one of my doors on my home. Occasionally I'll go out and I'll just sit there and run it up and down and cycle it, you know. 'Cause I'm
And you guys
bored.
can't see the motor inside this, but it's about this big. So you can see the motor on that. That is the motor, and for DC, that's massive.
Yeah, it's so programming. It programs identical to what we went through before. So you're gonna press to hold the P button down. You're gonna go into 5, and we're gonna do the up limit. Press to hold the plus button down. Hit the P. Do the down limit. Hit the P, and then you're good to go. So programming is identical. It's extremely simple. You do have to have this, you guys. Okay. So they're going to come in every box. You'll start collecting them. We'll probably get to a point where we may not ship them in every box. That's purely up to you guys once you get
For the
forward.
technicians, it's wise to have one on your truck,
Yes.
because you're gonna
Yep.
run into situations where you just need to program it. For the installers, I'd have 2, so just as time goes on, see if you can keep one that's in your glove box you don't really use, and keep one you're using, so that when this one shorts out, you've got backup.
Yeah, but you could leave one on the job site, one, zip tie it up top. I mean, that's purely up to you guys, but I would probably not recommend it. You don't want the homeowners messing around with it.
Do we need that with the residential version, or is it gonna have a built-in screen?
No, the residential will have this as well.
Okay, so it's still gonna require the plug.
Yeah, it'll still require. So in regards to the residential version, it is going to be identical to what you have here, other
3
than,
different sizes?
Pardon?
3 different sizes, just like,
there'll be 2. So the 1461 and the 1172, so there'll be 2 different residential units. But it's essentially a pig with lipstick on it. It's gonna be exactly the same
it's got a white
hardware.
black one.
Yeah, except it'll have a white housing on it. It'll come with the white remotes, receiver, wall pad, and then the light and the Wi-Fi system will be out in March. So we're wanting to get the residential out before that. So they're talking the end of the year for that. We'll see if all that aligns with what they're, with what they're
And then
telling us.
most, or the VTA, you can install upside down, backwards, I mean, it doesn't matter. You can change the programming to do whatever you want that way, and both these motors have the ability to set a, you know, so maybe the top button on your remote opens the door all the way, and maybe the bottom button opens a 14-foot tall door only to 8 feet, you know, something like that.
Are the residential ones gonna be solid shaft as well?
They'll be both, be the same. You can go hollow tube or solid shaft. Yeah,
On a residential, it's not that big of a deal to use this coupler.
yeah.
But typically commercials a heavier door, or if you're using this on like a wood door. So you really gotta be thinking that through. How heavy is this door? How much torque is that thing putting on it? A hollow tube will fail if it's a heavy door, you know?
On the residential one, does the tube have to go all the way through like this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, you either
all-
have to have
always-
it come all the way through or use this.
Yeah.
And we do stock these. We actually bought like 10 or 12 extra, so.
The intermediate stop setting is right there, it's not in that cheat sheet, so take this piece and just slip it into your, and that'll give you the steps for the pet program. It's 2 steps. You're gonna set your desired door position, and then you're gonna program the remote to it, so it's two different steps to do it, but I hadn't done it, for quite a while, and I went out on my door last week and I programmed it. It took me again just 15 or 20 seconds to do it, and it worked okay. I will never use it, but yeah, it's a neat setting. You got pets, open it up 2 feet, let the dog run out. Or as Mitch said, you got a 14-foot door and you're only just driving in the car. Why have it go all the way up and down? 14 feet, you can set the intermediate setting and have it go to a normal height.
Do you have a wireless wall button?
I do, there is. Yeah, there's a wireless wall button right here. It's this little black unit right here. It programs just like a transmitter, you guys. And so if you get your door in the garage over here, and then you got a door out here going in the backyard, you can take this wireless wall station, mount it on the back wall. It's a glorified transmitter is what it is.
It's 2 buttons, so you got 2 different doors in control.
Program it the same as other remotes.
Exactly.
Plug the thing in.
It's got the thing on the side, program it exactly.
Can you run it instead of the 3 button on the VTA?
Yes.
With,
The wireless.
Instead of.
Yeah, there's one right here. Yep. And that's what a lot of guys will do, is they won't look up the 3 button and they'll put up the wireless wall
So
station.
does the 3 button have to be installed either way, or?
No, you don't have to put it.
We can do multiple wireless wall buttons.
Pardon?
We can do multiple wireless wall buttons.
Yeah, they're just like a remote. Just like
250 of them.
Guess how many wireless wall stations I have in my garage? 5. What? 5. Got one between the doors, one on the outside of the doors, one in the back of the garage, and one up by my window. Because I can and I'm.
I was wondering, with the wired wall button, you have the little plastic caps that go over the screws. Is there a way to take those out without destroying them?
If you figured one out.
Okay, all right, I'll let you know.
Because I get my screwdriver in there and I struggle to get.
I've taken them off before, and I haven't found a way to do it.
Yeah, that's true.